Okay, we got the record button going. And now I'm going to,
I still have share capability.
you can?
Yeah, I can still share. So there we go.
Good.
Boom.
There we go.
Everybody should see the final exam.
And Rick, it's 3 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. If I could take just a minute and thank you for sharing this topic with us and getting us all ready to head to June Power Summit.
Oh, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Hey, hi, everybody. Glad to see everyone here. Thank you. For those of you that know me, you know we're going to have a little fun. It'll be fast and furious, and I hope more inspirational than informational. So that's my intent today. I appreciate the Trusted Advisors Network trusting me with this session. It's fun to be able to do, and it's actually a privilege to be able to speak and to share at any one of the number of events that I've done over the years. I enjoy it, and like Wendy said, I usually stir things up just a little bit more than most, and try not to keep it too dry. And she's laughing. She's trying to hold in a laugh there a little bit. So my session at the Power Summit in June is going to be really wrapping things up. We're talking about the final exam, and not necessarily. And if you saw my video, you kind of get the feel for who I am and how I'll be sharing a message today. It's really about not necessarily your final exam, but now that you've taken and you've gotten to that point, what do you do? What I've found over the time that I've been an affiliate for going on 17 years. July 1st-ish, I give you a little history on me. In July 1st, 2003, I hit the eject button in my corporate world and decided to take the plunge into self-employment. I found Wendy, Tammy, and the crew, and I said, this is where I wanted to be, and it's been a blessing for me since that day. The transformation into what we are today, like anything else, we have to transform our business. Everything changes. And I think one of the slides I saw from someone years ago is accept change. Change is gonna happen. It's inevitable. Change is gonna be uncomfortable, but remember, change is growth. If you're not changing and moving forward, you're going backwards. I love quotes. I love listening to philosophers from the past. And it's one that came up, Epictetus said, you cannot step in the same river twice. We are continually trying to grow our business. As you see, each one of us is trying to expand and grow our business. So that's what we're going to talk about. The final exam is not the end as much as it's a place to make sure that you've gotten what you've gotten. And now what are you going to do moving forward? And how do you do that? So I decided to take a tack and really look at what can we do? What's the next step once we've completed and taken that final exam? So I really think it's about, let me see if I can get this working. Oh, there it is. It works. Awesome. Good. It's mindset. The two components to really building a sustainable business is mindset and purpose. Both of them have to be in place in order for success to happen. If you don't have the right mindset, or as I like to call it, attitude, and not Queen Latifah, oh no, you didn't attitude, but really your mindset of where you are and knowing why you're doing what you're doing. So a couple of things I'll address today, and I'll probably got about a half hour or maybe 40 minutes if I get long-winded, is really to sit down and let's talk about what mindset you have. What's the mindset that you're going to choose to embrace? As you begin your business, wherever you are along that journey, and for me, going into my 17th year, which is kind of scary because it's the longest job I've ever had, really, by a long shot. Longest time I've ever done one thing. And so I obviously feel like my purpose is being fulfilled because I'm doing that. But the reality of what it is I had to have the right mindset. Going into this business 17 years ago, little background. I didn't have any customers. I had no training background whatsoever. I had no facilitation background whatsoever. I was a sales manager, ran sales teams. I ran half the country, Canada, Mexico, for a division of a pretty large company. Had a bunch of sales guys around in all the areas. I traveled a lot. I really didn't have any background in what we do in organizational development of any way, shape, or form. I'd never written a strategic plan. I didn't even care what it was. It was get out, sell, make things happen. So as I began that transition in my career many, many moons ago, I realized I had to have the right mindset. What was the mindset? And then actually know why I was doing what I was doing. At the time, I was a young father of two girls, two beautiful girls, and my purpose was to serve them. My purpose was to, what I thought was to provide them with a great life. And I went after that. But the mindset, now imagine coming out of a very comfortable corporate job, good money, well respected in the industry, well respected in my company, and essentially deciding to check out, bail, hit the eject button. Literally, I was like Top Gun, and me and Goose were bailing out. And that's what happened. So the mindset that I chose to take. So what I decided to do was really wrap my head around, how do I keep a positive thought, positive mindset in that? So that's really what it is. So here's a little bit about me. What mindset did I take? I decided to take the mindset of everything's a learning experience. Because at that point, everything was an absolute learning experience for me. So for you, thinking about your business, are you embracing all the things, and are you really spending the time learning as much as you can? Become a sponge. Learn. We're going to come up to Pennsylvania. We're going to come up to Reading in June, and I will share with you the one thing that I did that helped was I started showing up. My biggest mistake was for the first year and a half, I didn't show up. I thought I knew it all. So my recommendation, my challenge, and my suggestion is for you to come in with an open mind and come in to learn. I mean, really, really learn. And like I said, a couple of quotes. I'm real big on quotes because they kind of drive me. You can see around my office, I've got quotes up here. I've got, motivational things and pictures. And this is all what drives me every single day. And it truly is. If you don't learn something from everything you do, that's failing. So what are you learning? What do you want to learn? Come in with intent and purpose on that. And this is what I've learned. And it's kind of fun. And some of you may laugh, but for me, it's a big deal. So on Friday last week, I hit a milestone. And I'm not telling you this to give me any response, but to let you know where I am in my life a little bit. On Friday, I hit 60 years old. And the saying I would always tell my friends, and some of you are there, some of you are still yet to be there. What I always told my friends, and imagine the mindset that we have. We know the power of attitude. I would always tell my friends, because I'm the youngest of most of my acquaintances and my friends and the guys in my men's group, I'm about the youngest by 3-4 years. I would always give them a bunch of grief, and I'd say, you know what? You're getting old when your friends turn 60. Mindset, right? I think I got a couple of chuckles on that one. Because what was I telling myself? The whole time I would say that. And I've been saying that for probably 10, 12 years. You're getting old when your friends turn 60. So what does it say about me when I hit that number? All of a sudden, I'm embracing, holy smokes. You thought I was going to say something else. Holy smokes, I'm old. What am I learning here? So I have to embrace the right mental attitude. No, I'm not. And no one that knows me, has met me, sees me, looks at me and they will never say, "You're 60. Gosh, you look just like you look old." No, they'll never say that. But I was telling myself that in my mind all the time. That was my mantra. You know, you're getting old when your friends turn 60. So what does that mean when I turn 60? All of a sudden. And you know what? That's why I say time is a way of teaching you what really matters. And time has taught me important things in life. And I think that's where we really have to have the right thought process and the right really purpose, the driving factor. So attitude is one of those really interesting things. Over the course of years, I've been very blessed to be a part of a lot of military charities. One of my favorite charities that I've worked with for going on, I think 11 years now, is a charity called Snowball Express. Snowball Express is a charity that supports families of fallen soldiers. Some of you may have seen it on TV because we got a boatload of press because the Gary Sinise Foundation took it over this year. And they took 1,800, almost 2,000 Gold Star family members to Disney for 4 days. It was all over the news. And Gary Sinise obviously has a big presence, big publicity, and the news picks it up when he does something. So but for 10 years prior to that, I've been working with this charity to do the same thing, just without Gary Sinise's charity and the power of that. But along that way, I've got to meet so many really interesting people because everyone loves to get involved. In the military community, they love to get involved somehow. And I've met these amazing people. One of these guys was a guy named Jay Redmond. And if you want to Google him, it's Jason Redmond or Jay Redmond. If you want to Google him, please do. Now, Jay is a Navy SEAL. And he's also at this point, he's a motivational speaker. He's out there teaching, he's training. But in 2007, he was in Fallujah, Iraq, when his convoy was ambushed. A firefight broke out, and he was wounded. They were ambushed in the middle. The stuff was still going on hot and heavy, and he was wounded. In fact, he was shot in the elbow, both above his left elbow and then another round below his left elbow, basically destroying his left arm. And most seriously, he was shot, and I hope I don't want to gross anyone out, but I do it for explanation. And he was shot here, and it came out and kind of blew his eye out. He lost his eye in this wound. He was shot in the face, entered his jaw, came out through his nose. He was airlifted to Baghdad. You know, they stabilized him at the spot, airlifted to Baghdad, eventually made it back to the U.S. To Bethesda Naval Hospital, where he began his recovery. 38 surgeries later. 38 surgeries to repair him. Now, remember, this is back in probably 2013 or 14 when I met Jay. And we were sitting at the bar, having a drink, go figure. And so we were sitting at the bar having a drink, sharing stories. And I'm looking at this young man. Now, he's pretty healed at this point, 5-6 years later. And he was telling me a story. But what really, really, really struck me was his attitude. At that point was his attitude about it. He was telling us, man, that's really sucks. That's horrible. You got shot there, you shot here. And you could tell he had reconstructive surgery. He says, man, I forgot the duck. I'm all right. That was his mantra. That was his attitude, was I forgot the duck. My bad. But it was really interesting when I started researching and talking to him and finding out about him. During his recovery, and again, 38 surgeries, and you can look at it, it's been documented online, and I'll challenge you to do it. But one thing that struck me so hard was his attitude through the entire process. This is a sign, if those of you can see it, this is the sign that he hung on his door. It says, attention to all who enter here. If you're coming in to this room with sorrow or to feel sorry for me, go elsewhere. The wounds I received, I got in the job I love, doing it for people I love, supporting the freedom of a country I deeply love. I'm incredibly tough and will make a full recovery. What's a full recovery? That's the absolute utmost physically my body will be able to heal to recover. Then I'll push that about 20% further through sheer mental tenacity. The room you're about to enter is a room of fun, optimism, intense rapid growth. And if you're not prepared for that, go elsewhere. Get the hell out. Signed, the management, with a Navy SEAL trident on the bottom. So think about that. What was his attitude about his recovery after devastating wounds? Why did he have this attitude? The reason why is because he knew he had to have the right mindset. So what is it? How does this relate to us as trusted advisors and our businesses? Do we get up in the morning with the right mindset? Knowing what you've got to do. Jay had to wake up every morning knowing this is going to hurt. This is not going to feel good. I'm going to have to rehab. I'm going to have another surgery. I'm going to have to get in there. I'm going to have to learn how to re-walk, how to reuse my left arm, how to see again. This is gonna hurt. And as Navy SEALs have said, their mantra is, the only easy day was yesterday. And they embrace it. Same for us. And that's when I began to understand how I started my business. The only easy day for me was yesterday. Why did I do what I did? I could have gone back into corporate to take a nice, easy job. Again, I was recruited. I was well respected. Why did I do it? What's your why, people? And if you're listening and you're here today, and I know there's 11, 12 of us on the call, what's your why? Have you defined your why? Why you wake up every single morning and do this incredibly difficult job? Why? Why do you wake up? Why do you want to be self-employed? Why do you want to go out and, as we say, we're going to change people's lives? Noble, why do you do it? What's your why? Have you defined that? So as we come into the Power Summit, as we come into a Power Summit in June, my challenge for you is to find that why and understand it and clearly define it, what it is. What's your why? And I'm not talking about your vision statement for your company. What's your heartfelt why? What's the thing inside you that says, this is why I'm doing it? And know that and keep that front and center. Mine initially was provide for my girls. You know, my company vision statement is helping companies and people, helping companies and people achieve their potential. Woo! I look at it as generic. It's kind of cool, but it's generic. But what was my why? Why did I, at 44 years old, the prime of my earning capacity, the prime of what could have been my corporate life, decide to bail out and start a company from scratch? Because I wanted to provide a great life and spend my time getting to know my daughters. I wanted to be a father to my kids. So how did I do it? Well, when you burn the bridges, so to speak, you have to burn the bridges. How I did it was I didn't go back, and I wouldn't go back, and I couldn't go back. So I had one way to go, and that was forward. So for you, as we do this, are you getting up every day with the mindset there is no going back? Or have you built in something nice and comfy and cozy where you can kind of fall back on it? This is all I do. All I do every single day, I get up and I do something to work with the Peak Performance Group, work in this business, something. I don't do a whole lot else. I ride my motorcycle, I have a little fun there, go out with friends, but this is my only source of income. There's no retirement coming in. I left the corporate world too early. I don't have this big parachute that I can sit back on. So that's how I did it. I made that my why, my reason. Then the next thing is when. Today's the day. Think about what you're going to do when you hang up on this call at 4 o'clock Eastern time. When you hang up on this call, what's your next step? I say do it now. You got to keep improving. And the importance of attitude is so critical. Every day you got to wake up with the right mindset. That's going to take you and help you grow that business. You can have all the cool stuff that you want, but if you don't have the right mindset, and I've watched many, many come and go, you don't have the right mindset, then you will never be successful. The winning mindset. Here's something else I stole from my Navy SEAL buddies. And I find it interesting. Just because of my involvement with the community, with the military community, I really have been blessed to spend a lot of time with a lot of team guys. Matter of fact, I was going tomorrow to spend some time, 2 days, a new client. He's a former team guy. And this is what they tell me. Every day they want to get 1% better. So think about what you're doing every day. Or what are you doing to become 1%? We all want to be great. We all wake up and say, I'm going to be great. But the thing is how can you just be 1% better? That 1 degree, that 1% than the day before. As I said earlier, the only easy day was yesterday. Keep going forward and spend that time. And get that mindset right. So that's the first thing, a mindset. Then we want to talk about really, and here's another quick quote for you guys, Bruce Lee. We all heard of Bruce Lee, probably one of the finest martial artist movie stars. There are many of us out here. In fact, 11 of us on this call today. And I don't know about you, but I know about me. I'm just an average guy. But every day I want to wake up with the mindset that I know what I'm going to do. I'm focused every single day. I'm building this business and helping people. Living to that vision statement that I established 16 years ago. Successful warrior is an average man with laser-like focus. It's really about knowing what you want and staying true to that every single day. So first things first is get your mindset. Get your mindset right. Get your attitude where you want it to be and need it to be to build your business to the next level. The next thing is understand your purpose. Understand your why. So understanding the why, and that's really the final exam. Get your mind right. Understand why you're doing what you're doing. Think about Jay. Why was Jay rehabbing and spending all that time getting into rehabbing every day? His laser-like focus, he wanted to get back into the stuff. He would never be able to go back on the teams as it was before because he was, because of his injuries, but he could still help and support. His why was to be there and to be back on the teams. But what's his purpose? What's your purpose? So think about, your why. Why are you doing what you do? What is it? And I call that purpose. So the purpose, my purpose has changed over the years. Remember I mentioned I have 2 daughters. As 17 years ago, right now they're 20, almost 25 and almost 24. Holy smokes. 26, holy smokes. 26 and 24. And it used to be, let me build a great life for them. And then I realized it's really not the right purpose to have. On Thanksgiving, I was blessed with a grandson, Hudson Derek Gamage. And he is the most beautiful boy on the face of the planet for all of you grandparents out there, just in case you were wondering. And I now realized it wasn't, my purpose was not to make my daughter's life easy. Life's easy. My purpose was to make my grandson's life easy. And I came up with a quote, and I use it and I say, live a life that you leave a better life for your grandchildren, not your children, but give your children desire and a great work ethic. And that's my little grandson, Derek, or Hudson Derek. Oh, God, I love him. We went out to dinner on Friday. He came out with us for Friday for dinner. So live a life such that you leave a better life for your grandchildren, not your children. That's purpose. That's purpose, ladies and gentlemen. That drives you to get out and take the actions that you need to take. So we give you a little history. I want to talk a little history here on how did I get here? How did the Peak Performance Group get to from 2003 to where we are now? So a little history, a little stroll through memory lanes. Wendy, you'll enjoy this because I know you've been with me along the entire journey and watched the transformation over the years. So here's a quick one. Here are the growth steps. Is 2003. I founded the company as Peak Performance Development. I thought that was the coolest name on the face of the planet. And over the course of time, I thought I was smarter than everybody out there. Because, I got this. I can do that. And what I realized was I didn't have it. So I began to look at where am I going, what's happening, began to morph and tried to create, again, didn't get it all right all the time. Peak Performance Development, paid the bills, barely. Worked hard, wasn't getting a lot of results for my efforts. So I decided I need to branch out. And Wendy, you'll get a kick out of this one. I created this character known as Coach Rick. And he was a character. It was like a caricature. And I created this guy, and he was the missing piece to your puzzle. And I was coming to Pennsylvania, I was speaking, and I was acting like, sometimes like an ass, because I wanted to be this character. And what I learned is that's not who I am. And I realized that in 2007, I had this complete marketing campaign ready to go, ready to roll out. And then I had a little bump in the road in my life. As you can see, I put it right up there. I put everything out there for you guys to be transparent about how this moved to where we are now. Went through a couple of rough years, as you can probably imagine. You see what I put up there. Couple of rough years. But over the course of 5 years, I began to understand better, have the right attitude. Because I had this really kind of I'm better than you attitude to start off. That drove me obviously to a split in my life. But I still wanted to do something with my girls. I wanted to be a dad for my girls. I was always stayed true to my purpose. And over the 5 years between 2007 and 2012, back and forth, struggles. Wendy watched me go through this. And I know you're probably going to start nodding your head. You watched what a nightmare I was at times. And I had to understand and figure out who I was, learn who I was. So if anything else, understand who you are as an individual. That'll help you be who you are. And once I began to, and I really realized that Coach Rick was not a character, but Rick Kolster was a guy who coached people, and they like to call him Coach Rick. I became a different person. And that's where the Peak Performance Group, where I began to want to expand and grow. I would do this stuff all by myself because I'm bigger, smarter, better than anybody else in my mind in 2003 and 2007. I realized I needed help. So I reached out, I expanded and rebranded the company as the Peak Performance Group, got rid of Coach Rick. I still, it sticks with me and everyone calls me Coach Rick, but I'm no longer the character as much as it is. It's just a name. Rick Kolster, is what Coach Rick is made up of. It's really me, but Rick Kolster was not Coach Rick. Coach Rick is just a piece of who I really am. And that allowed me to be true to myself. And over the course of the next 5 to 7 years, the Peak Performance Group expanded and grew until now. We've now grown, and our primary product now is laser focused on our Emerging Leaders Academy. We built a model, and I spoke on it. If you were at the, not the last, but the previous Power Summit when I was up there in October last year, I spoke on the Emerging Leaders Academy. And I put together, I learned, built, spent time, how can you build a sustainable model? That's what we want. We want our final exam is not the end, it's building that sustainable model for you to make a living, make a business, and leave a legacy. So we've now morphed into this. This is our primary product. We're continuing to expand it. And frankly, folks, this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. Life is good. I'm happy. The world is good. The business is strong. It's profitable. And taking that from what did you learn to get to the final exam? What did you learn? Take your final exam and then implement that outside. That's really, I think my final exam was somewhere between 2007 and 2012. And then I had to learn how to implement all of those mistakes. Startup problems, not working hard enough, not paying attention to the important things, and really now focusing on that. So with that, I want to put it out to everyone out there is, what are your next steps? Think about what your next steps can be. And as we race forward, and it's going to be here anytime soon. I've got a calendar sits right up in front of me. And it's right up on the wall in front of me. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, wow, it's only a month away, a month and change away. And we'll be in Pennsylvania at the Power Summit. Make sure that you're there. If you're on this call, sign up. Sign up for the Power Summit. Make sure you get there. There's so much you're going to learn. Every one of the sessions is jam-packed, and it's going to be full of people that are successful and want to see you successful. So, number one, when you leave here today, take a good look at where your attitude is. Where's your attitude? What's your mindset? What can you do? We all know how to do affirmations, right? So my suggestion, my takeaway for you today is, right, go back to your affirmations. Go back and rewrite them. Spend time doing what you would tell your clients to do. Read your affirmations. Read them, look at them every single day. There, I still have them. In fact, this is you may get a kick. Some of you may get a kick out of this one. I mean, it's under my little glass, but anybody seen one of these? Ugly green cards with your affirmations on them? They still sit right in front of me every day. What are you telling yourself in that morning when you wake up? And I live in Texas, of course, so it's not cold all the time. In fact, it's hot most of the time. But not all of us live in a temperate climate. What do you do when you wake up in the morning and it's a crappy day out? Do you let the crappy day own you? Because it takes as much energy to be happy as it does to be crappy. It takes the same amount of energy. What are you choosing? What's your mindset? Use the tools that you have. Sign up for Power Summit and make sure you stay to the very end. Because I'm going to close it out. I'm going to close this out with some of this, but I'm going to be going a full hour. It's about a half hour right now. I'm going to be going a full hour with more meat, more things, and more takeaways for you. So with that, it's final exam time. Ask yourself this: what will you change to grow? What will you change so you can grow personally, so you can grow your business? So with that, I want to put it out there for any questions or anybody, what can I answer about my journey, my ideas, my thoughts, some of the craziness that you may have heard in my voice, or, any input. So I'll open it up. Wendy, I'm going to give you control back and stop sharing here.
Right, if you have any questions for Rick, the one thing that I ask that you do is please unmute yourself, because I did mute everybody while he was talking just to, eliminate a lot of the feedback. So with that, who has some questions for Coach Rick?
Well, come on, guys, ask me hard things.
I'll ask one. This is Charles. It seems like the military has had a profound impact on your purpose, or actually mindset, I guess you should say. How did you come to that?
My family, most of my family, my two brothers and my nephew are both Academy graduates. My nephew is West Point. My brothers are Navy. Yeah, we have a split household here. My wife is an Army veteran, and my men's group is I've been a part of since I began this journey in 2003. Is a group called Wingmen, and it was founded by a former A-10 pilot. Some of you may know who he is or seen him. He's somewhat famous. He flew 46 missions during the Gulf War and won 3 Super Bowls. So he kind of leads our men's group. So you can imagine the impact that the military has had on me in my growth, both professionally, personally, and spiritually. In fact, a quick story. Years ago, I was sitting at our men's group. We meet every Friday morning. It's a men's group, prayer group. We were meeting on Friday morning, and I was at a table with my friend who has won 3 Super Bowls and flown 46 missions. Next to him was a former F-117 pilot who had bombed Saddam's power station, knocked that out during the war. That's the stealth bomber. And he's also a former Air Force Thunderbird. Next to him was an Air Force colonel who was the #1, had the most hours in space as a commander. And next to him was a Top Gun pilot. And me, sitting at a table.
Sounds like a lot of power.
I was going, dude, no. And I never had the privilege or honor of serving, but because of that, my service back, and it is doing what I do in my volunteer work. But it really drives me to see the success that these people have had. That's the key, is I've watched the success and the mindset that they have had, and I've chosen to embrace a success mindset, not one of what most of the world, I'm sorry to say, most of the world embraces. So it has had a profound impact on me. My goal is to give back to the community as much as I possibly can, but also it's helped me grow as an individual, and I think it's helped me take my life to the next level. So thank you for that question, Charles. Anyone else?
Hello, Rick. This is Scott Holderson. I have a quick question I'd like to get your opinion on.
Sure.
If I could, I'd like to quote you. You said something about it takes the same amount of energy to not be great as it does to do your best. Could you reiterate that for me, please?
Okay. The quote was actually, it takes the same amount of energy to be happy as it does to be crappy. And that's a quote from my speeches. And it does. It takes the same amount of energy to put on a happy face as it does to put on a, I don't want to be. Just pick. Which one would you rather be? Do you want to be the happy guy? You want to be the other guy? And that's one of the things I just decided to embrace. You know, years ago, I used to wake up, roll out of bed, and utter a couple of words I won't use in mixed company, except maybe at the bar late on. But that's another story. And my kid's mom looked at me and said, Rick, why do you wake up and cuss every single morning you get up? It's not a real good way to wake up. And I had to go, sadly, look at myself and go, really? I do that? I never realized I did it. But now I wake up and I say, how am I going to take care of this day? Man, it's going to be a good day. So I've studied successful people and watched how did they look at their day. Do they look at it as what's going wrong? And we have clients like it. Trust me, if you're coaching, you've got clients that are always looking at this negative. Oh, yeah, but, whatever it is, they're going to find excuses. There are no excuses. Again, it comes back to one of the things, and I love my SEALs, there are no excuses. The excuse is ringing a bell and leaving during Hell Week. The excuse is not making it home. The right attitude will get you so much further than a bad attitude. So does that help, Scott? It's all in choice.
Yes, it does. Thank you. And I agree with you. It is a choice, and that kind of ties into the next question. And is that When you wake up every day, do you decide your mindset, or are you just set with your mantra and your affirmations that it's all aligned?
I think it's conscious every day. It becomes habitual. At this point, I do it all the time. I literally, and if I can, I'm going to grab something. No, Wendy, I didn't leave. This hangs on my mirror in my bedroom. First thing I see every single morning. I feel great today. I feel terrific. I feel healthy. I feel happy. I have the power. Yes, yes, yes. This is my version of affirmations. And I've got one sits here in my office, and there's one on my bedroom, on the mirror, on my dresser. Sits there. I see it every single morning. Do I get up and say that mantra every day? No, but I read it because it's right there. So think of the little tools that you can have for yourself. What little things can you do to remind yourself? Is it a sticky note with a smile face on your screen? Is it a screensaver on your phone first thing you wake up? Every day I wake up, my phone, first thing I look at on my phone, what do you think my screensaver on my phone is? It's a picture of my beautiful wife. It reminds me why I do this. It reminds me that life is grand and it can be wonderful. Next. That's the way I look at it.
Thank you, Rick.
My pleasure. Any other questions? Come on, bring them on. Come on.
All right, at the risk of asking my third and final question, how do you convey and transfer your energy from yourself to your clients to get them on board with the wave, if you will?
Oh, well. Shameless plug. Here's a shameless plug. My second book was titled Roll Up Your Sleeves and Get to Work. Now, for a guy who most people would have said couldn't read 2 books, to have written 2 books, part of that, I've really taken a no-nonsense approach to things. I tell my clients right up front, look, you can choose this. Here's what you want. And if I hear you giving me negatives, I'm going to say, hang on a second. How can you re-say that? Is that how you want to state it? I'm the guy that calls people on pretty much anything and everything. You can pretty much guarantee that I'm the guy who's going to call you out on your stuff, so to speak. I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can, Wend.
You're doing well.
I know. It struggles. I'm fighting my tongue. Yep. So Scott, how do I exchange that? I don't allow it in my life. I don't even allow negative words in my life. I mean, we have them. We get them. That's part of life. But the reality is rather than use what I call exclusion words, what's not there, because people tell you what's not there. Well, it's not that good. How was your dinner? Not bad. Instead of going, what it is. So I train my clients to speak differently. And when they begin, no, can't use that word. It's not what you can't do. Well, I can't do that. What can you do? It's always a shift. It's conscious, and I have to be conscious about it. Because again, I live in the same world you do. Don't allow your clients to go negative on you. And if they do, call them out on their stuff. Just call them out on it, flat out. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Scott. Anyone else? Hey, Mike. All right.
All right. Well, then,
That's all I got.
if there's no other questions, what we'll do is we'll let you have a little bit of your afternoon back. Rick, thanks again for helping us with that. And make sure you get to June Power Summit for some more details and action steps to take it to the next level.
Thank you all. You all have a blessed day.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Rick. Bye.